Facebook's live. YouTube's trying. Thank you, YouTube. Thanks, Twitter. X. Hold on a sec, Twitter. I always like testing myself because I have this on the phone, of course. And I just want to make sure we're going vertical, not landscape, because sometimes it ingeniously, deviously switches. And I have it locked on vertical. Just takes a while on the baby Chromebook. But anyway, I'll dive in and then I could restart it if it's a little landscapey or totally landscapey. So today, guys, the blogging tip of the day is how do you get people to visit your blog? Pretty common question in the beginning, very reasonable. We're gonna cross our fingers on X. And oh, there I go. No. Oh well. I want to see myself collapse and then come back up. So how do you get people to visit your blog? The blogging tip of the day. Well, right off the bat, before we dive in, okay, good. Before we dive in, I run a blog called bloggingfromparadise.com where I share smart blogging tips on a regular basis. I have a ton of blog posts there. And I also sell a course for getting featured on famous blogs, getting really high quality backlinks, as well as 3 ebooks, 1 blogging tips themed ebook, and then 2 others that are, one's travel themed and one is an inspirational piece. You get people to your blog fundamentally when you ask this question, guys. You get people to your blog by giving help. So, but that, I mean, you want to really think about how you can help human beings with content on site. So write and publish detailed, targeted, thorough blog posts which solve common problems in your niche. So that's on site because you got to give them some help that's appealing to them. But then you do off-site work to quote unquote get, but ultimately it's attracting or drawing, magnetizing your blog to them from off-site sources to your blog. And you do that by being helpful and creating content like this. So I started a couple minutes ago, and there's already 6 tweeters. I'll probably always call them tweeters, but Xers tweeters that are watching. So you do this stuff consistently enough, you publish helpful offsite and on-site content, human beings go from offsite onto your blog because they say, that's really helpful. I'm going to check out their blog. Let me click their profile. Let me click Ryan Bidoff, go to his profile, and then click bloggingfromparadise.com. And then boom, that's blog traffic. That's it. It's a simple process to get people to visit your blog. Simple does not mean easy. Simple does not mean comfortable. Most importantly, the fears in your conscious and unconscious mind that scare you into panicking, into greed, into desperation, into delusion, into manipulation. All these complex fear-based strategies pull you away from simple, calm, consistent, patient, helpful, to complex, manipulative, self-serving, getting, forcing, manipulating, fear, driving, pulling. And when I say driving, I mean forcing. So when I check my messages, whenever I next check them, I'll see a ton of minds who appear to be masquerading as humans in meat suits, but minds that are frenzied with fear who make simple complex. So rather than calmly creating content that helps a targeted reader offsite and onsite, of course, they try to get readers to their blog through their own fear-based efforts, manipulation, force, everything from the ego. So it's not based on helpful content that attracts on-site and off-site and service. It's based on, even if the content is helpful on-site, trying to manipulate and force human beings from off-site sources to their blog. We call this spamming, or we call this desperate manipulation, non-genuine blogger outreach, non-authentic blogger outreach. That's what we call that. So you get readers to your blog by giving help on-site and off-site. And that's the starting point. You need to enter into that frame of mind immediately, guys, or you will screw up the process. And you will not think it's based on giving help. You'll think it's based on getting a human being to do something for you. That means go to your blog. That doesn't work at a level of scale. You'll burn through seeming relationships or friendships or human beings. You'll go through humans like toilet paper. And it's because in your mind, since you're trying to get someone to come to your blog, to get readers, I use the terminology because that's what a lot of bloggers think in their mind. But I'm telling you right off the bat, if you try to get people to visit your blog, get the getting mechanism, you will use people and then kill them off in your mind. What can you do for me? Kill them off in your mind, forget about them. We've all been guilty of it, unless we're ascended masters, enlightened minds, enlightened beings. We've done it, and that's okay. What you're learning today is how not to do it, to be aware of it if you're doing it, and then to say to yourself, I think it's time to start creating, or maybe just to be more authentic about it, really detailed, targeted, helpful content online, on-site, through a blog post, maybe publish a post a week. That just helps. 1,300, 1,400, 1,500 plus words. Relax, calm down. Make it really detailed, thorough, and in-depth, and target it. And yes, that can drive Google traffic, but you'll get organic traffic through various channels. They'll flow to your blog because they'll be like, this is really helpful. But then off-site, you want to do the same thing. Now, you're not going to write a 1,500 word update on Facebook, but something thorough and targeted. And you share it maybe on your profile. You could start a group, join other groups related to your niche, answer questions in detail. You want the same frame of mind versus the really common mistake of, I'm going to try to get a bunch of people from Facebook to visit my blog. No, their algorithm doesn't favor that at all. Their algorithm favors you publishing a lot of helpful content, which helps them make money, and also you make money, because those are the updates that please their algorithm. So they'll give it greater exposure. The traffic will be targeted, and the Facebook users will be targeted, and there'll be people who will say, man, this is so helpful. What a great update, Ryan. What a great live broadcast on X, Ryan. I got to check out your profile on your blog. Boom. That's called blog traffic. That's how I get readers to my blog. By giving help that's detailed and thorough. So give help. Create helpful content. Again, guys, this appears to be a very difficult task, very uncomfortable, even though it's simple, because anybody right now could broadcast live. Anybody you're watching on Twitter, you have the live broadcast option. I'm assuming you're watching on your phone. If not, chances are you have a phone. So you see that live thing. But then when you think about clicking on it, most human beings, that's where all the fears come up unconsciously and consciously. And as the fears come up, unless you face, feel, and forgive them and proceed in that direction, you will try to run away from them and make things really complex, hard, and difficult on yourself. That's the secret of life. You're doing it to yourself. But the confusing part and frustrating part is that it's happening in your unconscious mind. It's happening on an unconscious level. So the unconscious fears come up. You're like, oh, no, I can't broadcast live. How do I look? I look stupid. I look like a moron. So those voices are your unconscious egoic fears surfacing. And since you're not even aware of how you're hurting yourself and it's coming from your mind and not the world out there, you'll do stuff like write a 600-word post, click the publish button, and then you won't do anything else with your blog on-site or off-site for the next month. And then you'll look back and you'll be like, why aren't I getting any traffic? And you're in that world that's diluted because you have a lot of unconscious fear that makes you appear to be identical to a robot until you come across videos like this. So you'll have the post, you'll publish a 600-word post, haven't done anything in a month. Like, why aren't I getting traffic? How do I get people to visit my blog? And then you come across a broadcast like this on Facebook and on YouTube and on Twitter X. And you're like, oh, I hadn't thought of it that way. You get by giving help through content, by giving content, giving help, giving help, giving help, giving help. Oh, so Ryan's saying you want to look, okay, we don't own social media. I get that. We own our blog. So we own our blog. We buy our domain and hosting, get on WordPress.org, and we build that into an asset that we own that works for us passively. But it takes a long time to do it with detailed, targeted, thorough content, publishing maybe once a week for months and then years. And then, even though we don't own social media, as I was saying, we still want to frame it somewhat similar to an asset, and that will create the content in the right spots and answer targeted folks' questions, which then behaves like an asset that works for us and sends people to our blog based on our helpfulness. So you create the detailed content that's targeted that then works for you while you work, while you sleep, while you circle the globe, like my wife and I, while you vacation. And then that sends people, like in my case, to my blogging course, How to Get Featured on World Famous Blogs, and my 3 ebooks. 1, 7 Steps to Build a Full-Time Income Earning Blog, How to Retire to a Life of Island Hopping Part 2, for digital nomads, and 7 things that helped me go from scared security guard to smiling island hopper. So that's what I sell. And when human beings see my help on Facebook and on LinkedIn and on Twitter X, and they're like, that's really helpful, then they visit my blog and they check out my blog content and check out that stuff. And that's the foundation of how you do it. It's the foundational cornerstone of success and thriving and freedom. Simple, because I know most people will nod their heads and some maybe not. Some will, I never thought of it that way. I'm just out in these circles where you're trying to manipulate human beings into visiting your blog. And now I'm thinking, oh yeah, help people. And then some, of course, too, because the egoic fear, the resistance is so strong. They're like, screw it, I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that. Is the fear of loss of time. And then when you make decisions from fear, you will find that they're really unintelligent. And then when you make decisions, when you face your fears, own them, face them, feel them, and forgive them or look past them, you'll start doing things more from love, harmony, peace, true helpfulness, and you'll relax. And then your work slowly but surely will work for you. That's the whole point. You don't get readers, you give help, and then you relax and they come to you. But as you give help, it's going to be a while. And another key concept to explore and then accept, and then embody is to get people to visit your blog. You yourself will need to patiently develop through consistent, persistent practice blogging skills, most of which ultimately boil down to you being truly helpful for other human beings, namely a targeted reader. You pick one niche, you develop your authority. That skills development process requires first hundreds of hours of practice, then thousands of hours of practice. As you accept that truth and you know you're going to be here practicing for thousands of hours, you could totally relax, calm down, slow down, enjoy the ride. You may have some ups and downs and egoic fear will come up, but then you just understand, oh, so it's a long-term relax it. Okay, good. Then you're good. If you resist that hundreds to thousands of hours number, you will fail 100% of the time to get people to your blog at a level of scale, long-term exponentially to gain freedom. And the reason is simple logic. If you think, when you rush the process, you skip the practice, the work, the skills development that gains you the credibility, trust, exposure, quality traffic, and income, which helps you thrive. So when you rush the process, you skip all the work that brings success. That's a guarantee. It would be like someone who wants to go to the NBA, say when they're in high school, they start later, and they're like, I want to get to the NBA with 200 hours of practice. And that will never happen. Because all NBA players practice for thousands and thousands, 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 hours before they get to the NBA. That's the only way you become that skilled. You have to practice a lot. Blogging is identical. You have to practice helping people, practice writing, practice broadcasting live, practice networking, practice mind training. A lot of mind training is involved, or can be, if you really want to knock it out of the park. Practice commenting genuinely on blogs, practice guest posting. So you keep at it, you keep at it, you keep at it. You will gain immense skills, clarity, confidence. You'll write with economy, and you'll publish the type of content that makes people really want to follow your blog very closely. And there you go. But you got to do it offsite. And this is where a lot of bloggers mess up. I see questions quite often on social media that go like this. My blog started off okay, and then someone lists 15 statistics. Maybe that's a bit much. Someone lists 5 statistics. This is my DA, this is my traffic, these are my impressions. So they look at all these numbers, they share the numbers in their frustration, or if it's not super frustrated, they still share the numbers and they're like, I've done this, I'm struggling here, look at all these numbers, what's the problem? And when I ask the ones that answer, that really want the solution to the problem and not to keep failing and self-sabotaging or seeing it their way, doing it their way, resisting, the ones who are genuine, in a lot of cases admit that they're doing no help. They're helping nobody offsite, away from your blog, to attract them from these offsite sources to their blog. That's a big one. That's so big. It's like no blog is an island. There has to be a connecting factor. Sure, in the rarest of cases, the most clear, confident blogger could theoretically, and they could rock it out by doing on-site, but just We want to make this easier on ourselves, even if you have to face fear and it's uncomfortable. When you just start getting off site a lot and you think social media's got 5 billion users or whatever it is, it's over half the world's population. Why not? If 5 billion people were in the world's largest stadium and your target market is 100,000 or 50,000 or a million of those 5 billion, why would you say, I'm not going to go there and help them? They come to me. You come to my blog. If you thought about that analogy, you'd say, God, what an idiot. They're literally in the arena. All you have to do is find your little, out of those 5 billion people, find that little demographic, that little corner, walk up to them and help them. And then they'll say, oh man, that's so helpful. I'm going to leave the arena, leave the stadium, walk to your store, quote unquote, your blog, and think of them coming to your store, and then they come into your store. And yeah, it's a process and there's a lot of helpfulness. It's sometimes uncomfortable, but at least when you're thinking logically, you're like, that really does make sense. You help human beings with detailed content and sometimes shorter form stuff too, through your profiles in the right spots. And then what you could also do, which is helpful, you join groups on Facebook and LinkedIn related to your niche. And then you answer group members' questions in depth, thoroughly. Those group members will say, that's so helpful. Thank you so much. And they visit your profile to learn more about you since you were so helpful. And then they see your blog and they're like, bingo. And they click on your blog, and that's called quality, highly targeted blog traffic. You got someone to your blog because you helped, you gave something to them, you gave something for them, you gave content, you helped them. Answering a question on social media is still content. Is it not content? It's just not what we think in terms of a blog post or even an update. So frame social media as a way to help people, and you'll start uncovering the real secret to getting people. Is not really getting people. It's giving to a targeted person. You could like updates, share other people's content. They could be both really helpful ways to kind of work your way in and serve people. Yet, the practical strategy that really hits the mark on social media is text-based or video-based, thorough, long-form content, because that content allows social media owners to make the most money, because that's what drives the engagement. Have you ever noticed that there are media moguls, but there are not social media commenting moguls? I wonder why. Owners make bank, earn coin, make bank, tycoon, moguls, based on content first and foremost, and then the engagement follows, and still content. But my deal is, my line of thinking is, engaging is pretty important. Creating new, detailed, genuine, unique content in the right spots, very important. And you'll see, those are the type of updates, largely, that you'll get your greatest bang for your buck. That will draw people from offsite sources like X, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, from these sites to your blog, and then you got readers. But as I mentioned before, you got to publish helpful content to your blog, long form, 1,300, 1,500 words, detailed, targeted, helpful, and do it consistently. Because if you get a bunch of human beings that like your offsite content, that find it very detailed, robust, practical, if you get them, if you will, draw them, attract them to your blog, and then your blog is like 5 or 10 posts or a high volume of thin content, maybe 400, 600, 700 words. When they see those posts, they might say, I like their social media content. It was very thorough and detailed and practical, and they were resource style guides in a way. And they come to your blog and they see a bunch of 600 word posts that are thin, just a passing thought. They get to your blog and then you're like, and then you leave it. So that's another idea to keep in mind with this concept. How do you get people? Well, once you get them there, you got to make sure you're doing a really good job with the content. Because if you don't hit the mark with your content, you get someone on your blog in your store, and then you don't really help them, and you're going to have a very difficult time drawing a loyal following, targeted return traffic, quality traffic, and building any type of business. So it's, you get by giving. You get by giving content. You get by being truly helpful for the long haul, consistently. In essence, you're giving your all. But it doesn't come from force, panic, manipulation, fear, scarcity. You got to really move away from these concepts, even though the world stresses them. And even though the ego through the world will appear to make a lot of these concepts prominent. I'll give you one example. And it's not a good or bad idea. It's fear, loss, scarcity. When you visit some individuals' blogs, it is an experience consistent with triggering claustrophobia, because those bloggers are so scared that they're not going to get something from you. And this is when you're actually on site. One pop-up, sign up for my list. 2 pop-ups, sign up for my special offer. I've seen blogs where sliders come in from 2 sides, from 3 sides. And then do this, do that. At the end of the post, do this, do this, do this. So you see, this is a big mistake, because instead of giving readers what they want, you're trying to get 1, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8 things from them when they get to your blog. And it shows that obviously you're doing this because you're scared you're not going to get anything from them. If you had confidence and posture and doing things more from love and detachment, you trusted your content to convert, to mold, to groom readers, customers, clients, all that, and yourself, you wouldn't do that. It's like, you visit my blog, I don't even have a list. I mean, I have a tiny, tiny list, but it's like, here, take it. I don't want anything from you. And in that level of posture, that confidence, clarity in myself and my content gives me peace of mind. And you do discover eventually, gradually, that if you give folks help, they'll help you without you asking them. You feel free to. So it's just another concept that I wanted to share, because that mindset often bleeds into the offsite stuff, where you're just like, get, manipulate, visit my blog. Hey, I'd love it if you visited my blog. And I see these updates on Facebook groups so frequently. I invite you to visit my blog. And I'm not mocking or laughing. It's just funny that you think that if you post a link to a Facebook group and you invite people, I would love for you to visit my blog. Yes, so would all of us. Imagine if it were that easy. Imagine if that were effective. Then everybody who said it would be getting crazy traffic and business. But as you know, none of these bloggers get any traffic or business. And it's because they still don't quite understand that helpful content that takes quite a while to master creating it, that's targeted. Giving that for the long haul is what draws people from offsite sources to your blog. Now, there's also guest blogging. You could write and publish really detailed, thorough guest posts, however much you want. But I suggest you build relationships with bloggers so you can gain invites to guest post. You could pitch strangers and try to convince them. But again, this comes from the getting mechanism, the egoic stuff. It's fine, but it's not effective or efficient, because you'll be reaching out to all these folks who don't know you, wasting a lot of time when you can be creating the content that draws them to you. If you really want to get traffic, give help so you are the hunted and not the hunter. There's a lot of blogging hunters out there. They're hunting, they're looking. I want to get, this, get that. I'm looking for customers, looking for clients. I'm looking for this, like they're hiding behind a tree or under a rock. Looking for this, I'm looking for that. I want to get this, I want to get that, I want to get this. Why not create the content that draws them to you so you have peace of mind and freedom, patiently and persistently? So then you're not looking to get anything. They come to you, they buy your stuff. Then you could go vacation or circle the globe, or you do the work. You have to do the work, but you create an asset that works for you. An entrepreneur builds an asset that works for them. That's how they gain freedom, peace of mind, and wealth. They do not chase people. That's what entrepreneurs who are not really entrepreneurs, but think like employees do. Most human beings think like employees. I have to do something personally and run after it. And in the process, they waste so much time and energy, and they sacrifice so much worldly freedom and peace of mind. My money, this is the employee thing, it's based on my singular personal efforts. An entrepreneur says, no, I build an asset patiently that brings everything to me while I put my hands back and my feet up. And they still work, don't get me wrong, but it takes a high level of emotional intelligence to do this, because you have to conquer a lot of your fears that are scaring you into being the scared hunter instead of the confident, relaxed hunted. And when I say hunted, of course, there's going to be a lot of scared bloggers and outreach specialists. And when I say scared, just fear, and they're going to hunt you. And that's fine. That's part of the game. But then you'll also have loyal customers, readers, clients, community members, people who really want your help, want your courses and ebooks and content. They'll come to you too, passively, organically. Getting is about giving help. Getting traffic is about giving help. It's a skill. It takes a long time to develop. You got to be really patient. You got to be really persistent. And you do give away the farm. And when I say that, I mean you do your best work for a long time, which gains you the skills, credibility, exposure to slowly but surely draw highly targeted, high quality organic traffic from offsite sources to your blog. Then when you get them there, you have the really helpful content to impress them, to where they say, this is really good stuff, to help them. This is really good stuff. This is really thorough. Fabulous. I'm in. And then that's where you have your success. And really, it's not even about the success as much as it's just really fun to help people solve their problems, live their dreams. So this is why you'll see a lot of bloggers just say, the top ones, you gotta love the process of being helpful, creating helpful content, or else you'll quit really quickly. Or maybe you'll keep at it for a while, you'll punish yourself with the getting mechanism, and then you'll quit. You're like, I gave it a shot, and it was just so hard. No, AI blogging, and I'm just gonna quit. It's not helpful. And then you see the ego unconsciously will just self-sabotage. It'll kill you with fear. But when you get this idea, and again, it's like Monday morning here in Costa Rica, 33 minutes in, and I'm sharing thoughts for bloggers, blogging tip of the day. How do you get people? So it's 33 minutes of my time, time-space creature, where whether it's live or on the replay, and ditto for Facebook. And when I share it to Facebook groups, ditto for YouTube, share it to, I don't know, I might tweet it or whatever. But this is the type of content that gets people to visit bloggingprogress.com. And everyone doesn't have to be long form like this. It could be shorter form stuff too, but the general idea is you got to stick to creating content diligently, patiently, and persistently, offsite and onsite. You want to be helpful, guys. You have to be helpful. You have to create content. Got to offsite. Another strategy that could work, and it's still content, but we usually think of it in a different vein, but it still comes down to content. Engaging in genuine blog commenting. Read blog posts. Give yourself 5 minutes, 10 minutes, maybe 5 minutes to craft a genuine personalized comment. You could address a fellow blogger by name. You could sign off with your name. Maybe a paragraph, maybe 2 paragraphs, and you dissect the point in the post. When you comment genuinely on blogs from your niche, readers of those blogs click on your name, which is hyperlinked to your blog, and that's direct blog traffic. So you'll get direct quality blog traffic through genuine blog comments. But an even more powerful indirect benefit that gets people to visit your blog of a genuine, persistent, patient blog commenting campaign where you really keep at it is that you will build friendships with successful bloggers in your niche who appreciate your comments, because comments are content. It helps their blogs rank higher on Google and foster a sense of community, and they appreciate it. Someone's reading their posts and sharing genuine thoughts. They love it, that's a big traffic booster, getting people to visit your blog. It might be interviews, mentions, a sentence or two where they mention you on their blog, and their trusting readers say, oh, cool. This is my favorite blogger, one of my favorite trusted blogger people is your blog that way. And just through social media promotion. So you build friendships with these bloggers who then retweet your posts and share them on Facebook and share them on LinkedIn. And maybe they interview you for YouTube. I've done YouTube interviews with bloggers to get people to visit your blog. But guys, as we get into the 35-minute mark here, just checking the time. I want you to give yourself the time today to, if you need to, and if you don't, thumbs up. And if you don't, thumbs up too, because you're making a shift, to remove the getting mechanism from your mind and replace it with the giving mechanism. Of course, indirectly or indirectly, but which actually draws the people to your blog. And you have to be patient with yourself, because you see, as you do this, your mind, and a lot of it's unconscious, these fears are like, no, I need it now. I'm afraid I'm running out. I've given too much in the past. It's done. So that the egoic voice of fear in your unconscious will come up, and it'll come into the conscious, and you'll hear things like, well, I helped so many people in the past, and I keep looking back. That's the ego's favorite number. Backwards, past. Keep looking back. Don't look forward. Don't be present. Just keep looking back. Man, I helped already. I kept helping. I helped them. I gave already. I already gave. And it's funny when you see me turning back, but how could you ever forget looking forward? How could you ever be present and helpful now when you just keep looking back and you said, I already helped them? I need that. I got to get it. And you'll see you have to conquer that, because established bloggers, and they forget the old giving, the old help. They may update old blog posts, but they're just not born fearless in this regard. A lot of us so important. So I'll leave you with, guys, the concept of, you want to remove the getting mechanism. The topic for as the world judges it, how to get readers to your blog. That is it, right? Yeah. It's what appeals to your mind to forgive or look past that, be a passerby as far as the getting mechanism. Like the topic is how to get readers to your blog, but you give help through content to reach that goal. So today it's like you're giving yourself some time to say, oh man, I'm going to be giving, and I have, but now it's going to be all about the giving content on site, but really off site, ultimately. Well, both, but intents and purposes, we're thinking off site giving. Got to give on your blog too, content to gain credibility, but the offsite stuff is what does it. Readers, they're coming from somewhere else. Why would they come from somewhere else to your blog? Because you help them consistently with targeted practical content. And then you start seeing, oh yeah, I want to be in full giving mode from a relaxed frame. From what I've seen, short form content works obviously on Twitter, works nice on X because that's kind of what it's about. But generally speaking, the longer posts where you give yourself a number of minutes to, and it doesn't have to be War and Peace style depth, but when you give yourself 5 or 10 minutes to write a somewhat meaty social media update for Facebook and for LinkedIn, and then you want to share it, not just your profile, maybe start a page, maybe start a group, share it there, and then join other groups related to your niche. So you're giving help, you're giving content consistently. That draws people from social to your blog, and you start seeing, oh yeah, being generous with content is what really, but it's going to take we just have a lot of scarcity drilled into our minds, a lot of fear, a lot of it's unconscious. We push out awareness. So like you'll see this video, this live broadcast on YouTube, on Facebook, and on X, aka Twitter, and you'll be like, great, this is 10 seconds from now on Twitter or on YouTube or on Facebook, you'll see the majority of bloggers and the majority of groups of this concept. So you're like, well, he said that it's about giving helpful content, but then I'm only seeing people trying to get, and then if you don't do your mind training, so I said you're only thinking about the getting mechanism and replace with giving, then you'll fall hook, line, and sinker for the ego script, and you'll just start doing what they're doing. Because you're like, oh, I can't help people. Look at they're going to beat me to it. They're going to beat me to traffic, and they're doing it. And I guess if they're all doing it, then I'll just do it too. And you see, you'll fall right back into that getting mechanism. And if you pay attention, you'll see that these updates rarely, if ever, gain any traction. No likes, no comments. And, free to do it, but why not publish a post and give yourself 10 minutes that then will work for you after you publish the post? 5 minutes from now, 10 hours from now, could be weeks from now, if it shows up higher in their search. And then when you do this consistently, you'll start being all over the place for the long haul. That content that you took 10 minutes to across a bunch of groups, one of your pages, one of your groups or a page in a group profile, that draws human beings from Facebook who are really interested in your niche to your blog while you're either working, sleeping, vacationing, out to eat with the fam, out to eat by yourself, exercising. That's what you want to think like, guys. Think like an entrepreneur. Then that's getting people to visit your blog through your helpfulness while you're enjoying freedom and peace of mind and offline life. You got to get into the asset building side of things. It requires more mindfulness. It requires you conquering a lot of fears that are fueling delusion, greed, desperation, impatience. It's just how self, you know what? It makes sense. I got to start giving with greater depth and just focus on that helpful content, which will draw the folks from the offsite sources. Guys, that's it for today. As far as a call to action, you can stop by bloggingfromparadise.com. I sell an online course that will help you gain a high concept of giving. I've never pitched anybody save one experiment. There's one experiment a decade ago, and then I pitched the editors of a site with a million membership. Their email list was like 100,000. And some of the other contributors were Mark Cuban, the owner of the Mavericks, Seth Godin, Jack Canfield. So these are like world famous contributors. So they're the only experiment that actively pitched. But other than that, all these high-level features on Forbes and Entrepreneur, and since they've removed, but Fox News, Richard Branson's Virgin blog, and then all the top blogs in my niche, ProBlogger, Smart Blogger, ShopMill, they all came organically. Basically. So that's what I sell. And I sell 3 books. One, 7 Steps to Build a Full-Time Income Earning Blog, which be applicable to you. Then one travel book and one inspirational book talking about my life. And could be inspirational for you. And then I share a ton, hundreds and hundreds of detailed, helpful blogging tips, theme posts. So feel free to stop by bloggingfromparadise.com today. I've been comments for a while, but a few mentally injured individuals started parking there and leaving all these comments every minute for hours, and it slowed everything down. I'm going to pay for storage for spammers. I'm sorry. So feel free. I close comments very quickly. But of course, reach out to me on social media. You're seeing me here, so send me a message on Facebook or on Twitter, and on YouTube. You could drop a comment. Like, speak up here. I'll see the updates. So if you have any questions, you want to share your thoughts. So I love you guys. We are at 46 minutes. Ooh, lovely. Have a great morning, afternoon, or evening. Until next time. Today's blogging tip of the day focuses on how to get people to